Hi, my name is Vahan Davudyan. I'm a physics experimentalist for 30 years. First of all, I would like to thank YouTube because YouTube is like a huge network and university, so they can upload their videos, we can upload our videos, so we learn from one another and we exchange views. And I love YouTube because I started a year and a half ago, and that was a great success for me. And in fact, I compared YouTube to synapse. These are the branches in the human brain. It's connecting billions of neurons together, so for any communication or anything like that. So practically, if you think about that, YouTube is like a network and university. Everyone can join, everyone can learn. And like I said, this is the only way we can, express our ideas. We can learn from the other people, they can learn from us. And, I thank them. They do a fantastic job, and we appreciate that. And in fact, today is so different because my theories are not about the physics. Today it's about the animals and insects. Let me put this up and then I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. In fact, today, because when I was in high school, I graduated with natural science with high honor. But overall, always my fascination came from animals and insect and nature. And today we're talking about chimpanzee, orangutan, and how smart they are and how they cope with everything. And the natural instinct is so good. I mean, it's amazing what they do. And then I will explain step by step. Even I have some experiment I will show you. And today's theory is called the superiority of animals and insects by instinct versus human, by Vahan Davudyan, physics experimentalist, and this is my email, vahandavudyan@aol.com. And I uploaded my videos like year 2000, and I have always mentioned in my theory that my inspiration came from animals and insects because my fascination was from when I was so young, I was a child. And in fact, when we're talking about instinct, some of them are, when the animal is born, especially I will show you in my experiment when we go on, that, like chimpanzee, there was one chimpanzee they adopted from Africa, and then she was only 10 months old, and she could climb the huge, tree easily. How amazing is that? Because that is a natural selection. This is the way they're born. It's an instinct, and in fact, part of it is called innate. It's inborn, and part of it is they can learn in their nature. And one of the most important people in this field was Jane Goodall, and she was an amazing human being. Well, of course, you can see this picture over here. She's when she started in Africa, in Gombe National Park, she was 26 years old. But in this picture, I think she's 70 years old. But her fascination came when she was like 6 years old, and then she had chimpanzee doll, something like that, and she loved this. But she changed everything. The way Jane Goodall did, it's amazing. 26 years old in Africa, and all the wild animals and the reptiles and insects and so and so and so. And she worked there so many years and proved so many things that, it was unknown for human. They had no idea how the chimpanzee lived, but she changed our understanding. This is Jane Goodall was amazing person. She was taking note, and then even though she was in jungle with all those wild animals, she had a big notebook, always taking notes. And then for the first time, she realized that, the chimpanzee is like humans. They have emotion. They can use tools, simple tools. and they can even reconcile. When they get in fight, they can reconcile. And that's amazing. I mean, we had no idea that the chimpanzee can get a stick and put it in a termite hole and then get the termites out. That is amazing how smart this animal is. And for the first time, she checked everything with this, you can see in this picture, the mom is showing the baby, or whatever that the young chimpanzee is. You have to get a stick and the stick, put it in this termite, hole, and then you get sometimes termites, sometimes, anything, like ants and things like that. And this is the way they survive. And this was the first experiment done by, let me post this up, you can see it. This was the first experiment for the chimpanzee, and this is Dr. Kit and Catherine Hayes. They were very smart people, and they adopted her. This was a different chimpanzee, and her name was Vicky. And then when she came to the United States, she was only 3 days old. And Dr. Hayes and the wife tried exactly the way, you raise your own kid. And then they worked almost 3 years. And this was the first time, like I said, it was in 1940. Before them, nobody had done anything on chimpanzee. So what they did, they treated Vicky exactly like their own baby, and she was so smart. After 3 years, they could only teach her, mama, papa, cub, and up. The reason why they realized that, the chimpanzee cannot talk. Not only chimpanzee, any animal, they cannot talk because our anatomy is different, our face is different, our lips are different, tongue and everything else. And after this failed, well, of course, that was a good try. And then I will explain what happened after this. His name was Dr. Gardner. Let me post this up, you can see it. This doctor was genius. Let me post this up, you can see. This doctor and the wife were genius. They were both psychologists, and they were in University of Nevada. So when they adopted, her name was Moji, but they had to call him Washa. The Washa is the county they used to live in. You can see here, he is maybe like 4 years old almost. You see, she's using a screwdriver, and this is Dr. Beatrice and the Alan Gardner. And they were so smart, and I saw in a documentary, especially both of them, they emphasized and re-emphasized there is no way that the animals, especially, orangutan or, chimpanzee, they can speak English because their anatomy is different. They are not born for this. And then when I analyzed myself, I realized they were absolutely right. Chimpanzees, they don't have to speak English or any languages because they communicate, they know exactly what they want, and they survive in the wild. So that is amazing what they did. In 18 months, this Washa or Mojo learned almost 24 sign words. In 5 years, she learned 350 sign words. And this Dr. Gardner was an amazing person, and then he was inviting, PhDs, and then some other people, they would come to his house. And in fact, one of them was a linguistic, also expert in sign language. But the main idea was that Dr. Gardner was there is no way that they can learn how to speak because of the way their body is, the way their face is, the anatomy of the faces. And they realized the only way to do this is the sign language. And they were so smart, when the Mojo or when the Washa was present, they would not speak English. They would only use the sign language. And in so many years, this monkey, this Washa learned a lot. This is another one. is also another smart animal. Orangutan means man of the forest. You can see the main advantage over the humans is they have 4 legs and 4 arms. The reason why, if we need to solve this big log, we have to put a big vise over here, big vise over there, fasten it on a vise. But see this? His name is Mr. Hercules. He's a male, I don't know, 10 years old or something like that. You see how, when I saw this, it was showing in National Geographic, I think. He saw all the way to the end, but you see he's holding with, because sometimes it's seen in the wild that chimpanzees, they can eat even with their feet. So but see, they're doing exactly the same thing the way the chimpanzee does. But now I have to talk about Dr. Gardner, what they did. That was, amazing. They changed our understanding for everything. He was so rich, and then he had a huge house. He converted his house like a jungle. He had like trees, so the washout could climb and then play, and so many things. And then even he put a camera up there so it would film everything. And that's amazing how she learned everything, and I remember so many times. And then Washa was showing the Miss Beatrix. She was also a psychologist. Time to eat, and then they were eating all day long. But I don't know why in wild chimpanzee is eating like 6 hours a day, but at their house it was all day long. And that is so energetic. Imagine if you need babysitter, you need to have 2 babysitters and then work shift by shift in order to take care of them. Because every time they do something, you have to give them some food. And then there was another case that it was it's beyond my imagination what happened. Kids were playing, and then they left a doll like this in a cup. And then Washa was there, and then she rushed to the Dr. Beatrice, the wife, and then wanted her attention. Look, what happened? And then doctor was watching, so Washa go like this, baby in the cup. So it was showing that the baby is in the cup and showing this. And amazing. So this means that the animals, like monkeys, especially chimpanzee, which their genetic is 98.5% like us, but the orangutan is 97, but they're also smart. So they can analyze. So what Washa did was beyond my imagination. So she connected the, baby in the cup to her, and then they wanted their attention. And I remember in one instant, Dr. Gardner's wife, Miss Beatrix, was faking that, she was crying and she was so sad. And all of a sudden, Washa just rushed and then started hugging them. That is amazing, how these animals are. And especially orangutan and chimpanzee, I don't know why, cats and dogs are not like that. But every now and then you have to hug them. They are so emotional, and that is amazing why they do this. This is another photo. You can see I call them the best mom. The reason why, how could you see an animal? There's one on the back, and sometimes there's another monkey on the, hanging from here, and the mom has no objection. They always go. They eat, they climb, and guess what? These guys are there, the baby, they never fall. They know how to hold on this. And this is in Indonesia. You see, this Hercules, the same guy I show you a few minutes ago, was kissing a young lady. It's amazing how these animals are. And in fact, I had to analyze, and then I realized monkeys, especially chimpanzees are different because I studied natural science and a lot of biology books. I knew this is extremely important. That's called the human's anatomy or primate skull's anatomy. You can see the humans, see our chin, see our nose, eyes, and then the skull overall, and you see how upright it is. But this is chimpanzee. You see the difference? I mean, when you go back in the early humans, if you pay close attention, you can see our ancestors, like millions of years ago. I'm not talking about Neanderthal, even before, like it was called Homo erectus. Well, of course, they could watch, like this. It was not like monkeys. They were walking straight. If you watch them, you can see their head was retracted like this. It was not like humans like this. And then even you can see, like when we're talking about like Neanderthals, their eyes are bulgy. They look like monkeys, but the Homo sapien is the most handsome one because we are reshaped probably. And then my analogy was right. And then after I watched so many videos, I discovered something amazing. I discovered chimpanzee and orangutan. What it is, always this lower lip is sticking up a little bit. And this upper lip is not tight enough. But the humans, you can see how tight they are. We can have water in our eyes. We can squeeze the water like jet. And then we can hold it for 2-3 minutes under the water. And then I was not happy with this. I had to make my own chimpanzee. See, this is chimpanzee I made. And then I noticed a big difference. You see their mouth, the way it is going like a snout like this. You see this angle, but the humans are straight. Humans are almost that much, but this is straight. And then I realized this is the key. That is the reason why they cannot talk, because they are not built for this. So always this, especially the lower lip is a little bit lower, and then they cannot talk. And then I just forgot I have to mention something. Dr. Hayes, the one I just mentioned a few minutes ago, he was very smart doctor in biology. And then one time I remember he had to push this Vicky's lip all the way down so she could say mama and papa. But overall, after 3 years, she could not pronounce the consonant. Especially she had a problem with M, because when we say M, see, both lips are closed. And this was my analogy. You can see the way the chimpanzee they are. The lips are not tight enough, and they're so big. And my second discovery was the chimpanzee is so vocal. They are crazy. They are not like orangutan. They make a lot of noise. And the reason why they have this huge mouth is acting like a funnel. Because funnel, if you blow in a funnel or you talk to the funnel, you can enhance. It amplifies the sound. So this is exactly the way their mouth is. And then, of course, I had to incorporate one of the greatest minds in the history of mankind. His name was Charles Darwin. I remember this was favorite scientist when I was in high school. I had to write a lot, composition and everything for Mr. Charles. And then he was naturalist, he was biologist and geologist. So probably he was so genius, he changed our understanding about the way we evolve and evolution and everything else. And you ask so many people, why did he go to Galapagos Island? They have no idea. Because he was genius. The reason why, he wanted to see diversity. Galapagos Island, if you watch in a map, you can see, or the globe, you can see that's the best place. All kind of diversity, animals are there. So his study was amazing at that time, and then he published so many books. So I tell you in a minute the books he did, and then for the natural selection. And we can see Charles Darwin, natural selection comes in equation always. And this cute animal is a bird. It's called kiwi. And amazing, that is only in New Zealand. And I'd like to thank them for being a good government, because there is no way you can have them as a pet. That is a good conservation idea. And imagine the reason why kiwi has cannot fly, has no wing. The reason why she has no enemy. So they just roam, they just eat, they just graze here, and there is no one to take care of them. I mean, how amazing it is. So I have to read this because it's really complicated. He had the origin of a species, was published in 1859. He put forward much evidence that the evolution had occurred. Natural selection is the central concept of evolution, is the process where organisms with favorable traits are more likely to reproduce. In doing so, they pass on these traits to the next generation over time. This process allows organisms to adapt to their environment. And this explanation was so good, I love it, and then I have so many examples I can show you what we meant by this natural selection. This is amazing animal, it's called a salamander. Let me put this up, you can see it. And you can see what Mr. Charles Darwin said 150, 60 years ago, it came true. See, this salamander, see how beautiful it is? It's got eyes. The reason why, she is not in a cave. She is in a, open. It's like a tropical places, and then she has to see and then catch insects. But this one is in Japan, in like caves, but see, has no eyes. The reason why this is called natural selection. They live in a caves with complete darkness. But as a matter of fact, they have all kinds of sensors here, but of course it doesn't show here. And one important thing, this is called olm, and it's in Western Balkan Peninsula. It's called blind salamander. So she has also felt the electricity exactly like sharks and the other animals. Can you believe? So that feeling electricity, but I have no idea because I don't know. Is that millivolt or, microvolts? I have no idea. Probably it's millivolt, but she can catch the prey and they don't die. Even though they have no eyes, they don't die. And this is amazing. I saw this so many times. This is another case for the natural selection. And imagine these turtles were born maybe 10 minutes ago when I saw it. Immediately we printed this. And by instinct, the way I just explained, the instinct is already born with them. Even humans, we have instinct. As soon as they're born, they run through the ocean. And probably, the turtles are so smart, they make sure that, it's not going to get flooded. I have seen so many National Geographic, they just nest, they just lay the eggs 10 meters away and make sure it's a little bit high elevated so it won't get flooded. So as soon as they're born, they rush. And then Mr. David Attenborough, he's a fantastic scientist. I like him, National Geographic. And then he was explaining that almost 92-95% get to the ocean, and the 5% are getting with the, vultures and then the big birds and things like that. They eat them. So. This is another case for the natural selection, and she is called the Egyptian vulture. And imagine, I have seen this so many times. Well, of course, this is a grown up, and then imagine, it's not easy to crack the ostrich egg open. It's almost impossible. So she tried this, and then finally there was a tree here. She climbed up there and then dropped it. Probably they know about the gravity, and anyway, and then finally they, cracked it. So later I will explain how we learn from animals and insects. Probably I'm going to have to do it now because I think I have to explain what happened here. My main objective is here because I've never done anything for the animals and insects. It's 99% were physics and chemistry and the nature and the sports. But this time especially, my emphasis is going to be orangutan and chimpanzee. Well, of course, we have more. If we paid attention, humans, we paid attention for the birds, we had to invent the airplane way before the Wright brothers because of the airflow, for the birds. Then a bat is an amazing animal. It's like a radar. Radar was invented before the World War, but we could invent this maybe thousands of years ago. But at that time, we didn't even know how the animals live. So airflows in birds, and then the laws of aerodynamics, I can explain a few minutes later, in geese. And it's amazing how they use laws of aerodynamics. And the snakes, how difficult it is to use the infrared camera to see if there's a criminal hiding behind a tree or in a house which is obscured, we cannot see. But the snakes are using that by natural instinct. And in fact, there is a fish, it's called archer, I show you in a minute. She is so genius, she is in the water and squirting water to the insect, and then imagine falling in a pond, and then she takes care of them. But imagine, that is a refraction. How do they know how to offset that? That is called archer. That fish is so amazing. So overall, all we can do, we learn from animals and insects. And like I said, I have so many, but unfortunately, because of time, I don't want to do all of them. I can mention only a few of them. But I have to mention something amazing. His name was, he was a philosopher, and then he was born where the seaside was, and then he was doing all kinds of experiment in Greece. And then his name was Mr. I'll let you know later. So anyway, this is another case that how smart some... See, Thompson gazelle can go maximum 50 to 55 miles. But the cheetah is the fastest animal in the world. They can go 70 to 75 miles. There is no way 98% of the time cheetah can catch. But it depends on how far they are. If they're stuck closer, they can catch them. And imagine how this Thompson gazelle knew that used the first law of motion. See, if the cheetah is moving in this direction, the velocity is here. It's very difficult to change direction because she has velocity in this. And I saw this so many times, like 2-3% of the time, Thompson gazelle is cheating cheetah. So what she did, she was almost about to catch her, but she changed direction like this because the cheetah was going in a straight line, like law of motion. She had to continue, and then finally she got away. This was another case we just have to mention. In Texas we have a lot. It's called fireflies, and they're so beautiful. Let me put this up, you can see. This is called fireflies, and this phenomenon is called bioluminescent. And that's amazing because they are live on the surface of the earth. They use oxygen. There are some animals you can watch the Discovery Channel, or you can see they're under the ocean, and that is the most beautiful display of the LED. And this was my favorite scientist, Mr. Niels Bohr from Denmark, and he came up with the idea for the hydrogen. It's called Bohr model of the atom. Well, of course, it's a long story. I don't want to go all the way through. Then he was the first one who discovered the shells. They have different, shells, electrons, from the high energy to low energy. And this was the main concept that if the electron is falling from high energy level to the low energy level, is emitting photon or light. In fact, insect is doing exactly the same thing. Well, of course, it's so complicated, I don't know exact mechanism how it works, but I know this chemical is called luciferin, and then it's complicated, it's getting with the other chemicals. So what it does, it is just emitting, it is going from the high energy level to the low energy level, and is emitting photon. And amazingly, this is beautiful color. It's called greenish glow. I live in Frisco, Texas. They come from May all the way to the end of the year. And then if you go like 8 o'clock at night in Frisco, where we live, it's north of Dallas, you can see it's like a Christmas tree, so beautiful. So this was another case that, Niels Bohr knew. But how about if Niels Bohr was born 200 years ago, and then they knew about this insect, he could discover this much, much sooner. But that is the way they are. This is the way the insect can teach us how everything works. This is another theory. I published this a year and a half ago. And when I was in high school, aerodynamics was my favorite subject. I have to mention that we lived in Denver, Colorado for 20 years. It's so beautiful, wildlife. In Colorado, you can hardly see fat people. They're all lean because they go mountain climbing. Nowhere in the United States you can find that much sports shop because people buy a lot. And I used to watch in my house. It was in Westminster, north of Denver, Colorado. And then I could see these geese, how amazing this knowledge is. They are using laws of physics. And imagine even two geese like this, they fly, always they have a lead. And the scientists have no idea why they have a lead, because it's unknown. But they know that they are flying like a delta shape. And then I had to investigate. After watching like 18 years, and then one day, that was the best day of my life, I realized they are using the same thing the airplanes are doing, the pilots are doing. I show you here. See, this is called one squadron. So imagine this pilot number 3 or pilot number C wants to go out. They cannot just fly like this. What they do, I have to show you here with airplane. See, let's say this John wants to go out, but cannot go like this. So what they do roll, and then they use roll, and then pitch. That is the way they come out. And then I realized they do the same thing. That's amazing. It happens once the third time, fourth time, or fourth or fifth, and even sometimes second one. So that's the way they do. They roll, and pitch, and they go out. And the reason why the geese is doing this, because we humans do this a lot. It's been hundreds of years. This is called drafting. And then you can see the laws of aerodynamics. Whoever is in front, let's say this is a Tour de France, and then she's at the first person. You can see the wind, she's blocking the wind. Well, of course, the humans are not aerodynamic. The head is a little bit aerodynamic, but it's a lot of resistance here. But the second one is getting less aerodynamic. Third one is getting less, you can see. So the birds are doing the same thing. And you know what? The humans live by GPS and things like that because we are smart, we have huge brain, but we are not smart like animals and especially birds because this is the way nature provided everything for them. Let's see, one of the lights out. Okay. See, this is called Robin, and it's amazing. What she does, in the right eye, you can see they have like a GPS. They can feel everything. They can feel Earth's magnetic field and everything else. But you know, we can't. We need a compass, gyro compass, and everything else. And in fact, the newborn rabbit on both eyes can feel, but I have no idea. It's not good for, I mean, scientists don't even know that, you know, it's like they can get the magnetic field like the dog. And this is my favorite, you know, pigeons are amazing. In a total darkness, they can navigate, and it's amazing how they do that. They have like a magnetite in their beak, like that, and I show you one magnetite. I got this in Colorado in the mountains, and then you can see it magnetized. See, it's a magnetized rock. You see, it's sticking to the. See, it's sticking to this magnet. They have in their beak, so they can feel everything. And then there were so many experiments they done on these birds. And you know, if everything is obscure and they have no frame of reference, they will be able to navigate. This is amazing, not amazing. It's called bat echolocation, they call it. So, bat is probably, when it comes to agility, no human being can invent something like, you know, bat the way they go because they have a radar. I have never seen they hit any walls or anything like that. And you know, in caves, the way they are, they can have sometimes 400 moths. This moth is a small like insect, and amazingly, moths sometimes can, emit frequency, and this disturbing bat's frequency, and she's confused, she can't catch them. But you know, they emit high frequency sound, and it's exactly like radar rebounds, so they can calculate how far this insect is, and they can catch. This is another amazing animal. It's called eel. Let me put this up, you can see. It's called the electric eel. So this is like a moving battery, and it's amazing. There was one thing I saw many years ago. They just dissected, and it's like you could maybe fit 10, 20 batteries in her body. It's like electrolyte, and then it's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. And amazingly, this animal can produce 500 volt DC 1 ampere, which is a killer. You know, it can turn huge electric engine. And that is the way that, you know, stun. Well, of course, it doesn't kill the animal. They stun the, small things of fish, and then they eat them. Well, in fact, for the humans, we use like it's called taser beam, I think, yeah. For the humans, we use, it's almost the same concept. This was another one, which in a few minutes I just mentioned. Is for the refraction, and imagine the nature has provided everything for animals. Always they use their natural instinct, and imagine this boy is sitting here. this is not the actual place for the fish because the light bends over here. It's laws of refraction. This is the actual place. I have seen so many times when I was a kid, the dogs are trying to catch a fish like this, especially cats are so bad. And they don't realize the fish is not here, fish is there. And they just throw it like that and they have no idea. But this fish archer, the nature has done it because it's, it's when they get born, that is the way they are. See, she is offsetting this, time here, see. This is the image, but this is the actual insect. And imagine, how do they know? Because she's inside the water. The light should come here, and then the bends over here, but they can catch the fish. So it's called archer fish, and this is one of the natural phenomenon for the, natural selection, how they can do it. Jane Goodall mentioned so many things about the humans and about everything else that that chimpanzee or the other mammals, they can learn. The humans are the same way. I have this example, you can watch it. Well, of course, I have to put this up, you can see it. I have no idea if they are Homo erectus, Neanderthal, because the way they are not Homo sapien. Because I, have so many geology books, when I compared, I realized these are Homo erectus. And imagine they are using the first law of thermodynamics, because the mechanical, energy is converted to heat energy. And of course, this is the new. Well, of course, this is for 20th century. You see, when you go there, that stick rolls back and forth, and then, it creates heat over here so you can make fire. But imagine what they said, that the humans and the animals are the same, so they can learn. But our main advantage is because of, the way our face is, the way our tongue is, we can speak. And in fact, it's amazing, the humans can speak like almost 90 words in a minute, less than a second. Well, of course, this psychologist and then this, PhDs came to Dr. House, in Nevada. They mentioned the humans are like me. I'm using my hand now. If they tie my hand, I won't be able to talk, because the humans, we are fluent in so many languages, but no matter what, always we use our facial expression, but the monkeys can't. They only use the hand gesture. And psychologists always emphasize, when you have like a hand gesture, people do understand much better. When we say no, 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 you don't even have to say no. You say no, no, no. When you go like this, you are threatening someone. And it's amazing how these animals are learning this. And then Mojo, or Asha, was doing like this, more. And then was doing like this, where? And was doing like this, I'm thinking. And then she was doing like this, it means give me sweet. I mean, how amazing is that? A monkey can learn 350. Well, at last, I'd like to thank so many people. Their encouragement is so good, their feedback is so good. About a month ago, I did Tide by Ocean, Tide by Moon and Oceans. And then a month and a half ago, I did Focus Pendulum. That was great success. When I came back from France, I saw the same site, they did the Focus Pendulum. And like I said, so many physics enthusiasts and the science enthusiasts emailed me. That was great encouragement for me. And this is so important that when you guys that is called feedback. When you guys express your opinion, I know if I make a mistake somewhere, and next time I can do better, and then I can improve my things. And then I'm hoping this will teach you a lot, because now you know how the animals are, how the insects are, and then how everything works. And like I said, my main emphasis was to improve the science. The reason why I said all these things, radar and the laws of aerodynamics, and then laws of infrared with the snakes, and then the Charles Darwin, and then the laws of physics, we can learn in animals. But like I said, if we don't investigate, we never find. So I'm hoping that you guys love this video, and then if you like it, you can just make sure you give me your feedback, and then you can subscribe also if you like, and then I'm hoping next month I will do Michael Faraday's lab, and that's going to be so important. I'm hoping after I come back, after January, I can do another video for you guys, and then I have so many for natures again, and then I will do my best and then to educate you guys, and then this is my main objective. Thanks a lot for watching, appreciate it.